Right now, Tyler the Creator going to war with the entire internet. So a few days ago, D'Angelo passed away, right? The world hurting, everybody giving tributes, everybody speaking on it. And Tyler just so happened to give a tribute to D'Angelo. Now, it seemed like some of his fans felt the way or had something real ignorant to say about D'Angelo. And this where everything started to go left for Tyler. Tyler indirectly acknowledged the issues within his fan base. So everybody online having this discourse about D'Angelo. And Tyler would like a tweet that said this: Tyler's fan base hates black music despite Tyler himself having a very deep love and appreciation for it. Tyler got Charlie Wilson, Erykah Badu, DJ Drama collaborations, and yet they still refuse to engage with black art on any meaningful level. Very cannibalistic. So Tyler seen this tweet. He likes it. And I don't think he knew what this was about to start. And this goes all the way back to his past. Tyler, you know, was this real edgy dude at the start of his career. Not like slightly edgy, but 2016 YouTuber edgy. He would make jokes that weren't funny, but would deadass make you feel uncomfortable. And that was Tyler's whole image during that time period. During the early 2010s, bro was clip farming before clip farming became a term. He did a lot of stuff for shock value. Tyler was a dude who would say what he wanted without caring what anyone ever thought. And many times throughout the years, when people tried to bring this up or try to cancel him for his past, Tyler would just be like, oh well, like, it's the past. I said what I said, but I'm not that same person no more. So when Tyler liked this tweet saying that his white fans don't respect black art, everybody started side-eyeing him. They looking at Tyler like, but you're the same person who allowed this to happen. They was feeling like he's the reason his fan base is the way it is, because time and time again, during the early 2010s, 2013, 2014, Tyler was putting out anti-black tweets disrespecting so many different artists throughout the industry. Looking at the Tyler we see today, he is not the same one from them early Odd Future days. But his past constantly gets brought up. I mean, a big example of this was last year during his Chromacopia rollout. He would get into it with Taylor Swift fans who were digging into his past, trying to do exactly what's happening now, trying to cancel him. And this was all because he was going #1 ahead of Taylor Swift. And you know, she got that coat. I'm pretty sure she just dropped the album, did 1 million copies first week. She be doing crazy numbers. But Tyler would respond to all this hate, basically saying he didn't care. Billboard would write this: Tyler the Creator threatened to bring back the old him during his 30 Minutes of Chromacopia mini concert in Boston while talking about his ire at Taylor Swift fans. The rapper lashed out at what he deemed as an attempt by Taylor Swift fans to cancel him over old lyrics after he momentarily took the #1 spot on the global Spotify chart. Tyler would say, I got Swifties all mad at me with a racist ass. Bringing up old lyrics, go listen to Tron Cat, I don't care. They gonna bring out the old me. But not only that, Tyler kind of responded a few years back to exactly what's going on right now.
Like, I'll be like, when people go back and dig up old stuff from someone who's here now, it's like, hey, what's your end goal? Because I want to ask them, what is your end, but what's the example you want to set?
That you will always be held accountable for your actions.
But accountable, what does that mean?
That's the part that I don't think.
What does
know.
it mean?
Yeah,
because if is the goal, you shouldn't do that. You should change and be a better person. I've been not even me, but to whoever they're doing. Right. I've been a better person for the last 9 years. That was 10 years ago. So what's their end goal? But I think people like doing that to make themselves feel better about themselves. It's like, oh look, I care about something. Yeah. I wasn't on the basketball team, but look, we're rallying up and getting this guy out of here, right, guys? It's like, what's the end goal?
Oh, everything you just said, and I think it's power and control. Look, I was gonna, we had a baby performing at Summer Jam, and a lot of people have canceled, the baby from their shows. But here we are, a week removed from people canceling from the baby, and you have Miley Cyrus and organizations saying, no, we want to talk to him, we want to help. And the reason I bring that up is, to your point, I think there is a point where many people do want to figure out how to have a conversation.
Either figure out how to have a conversation, or I think some people don't care. Again, it just gives people shit to do on their lunch break or while they're passing or like sitting on the subway just waiting. Like, I think some people genuinely don't care about some of the things
that they're complaining
about.
So Tyler never really cared about getting canceled, but him liking that tweet, I think, changed something on the internet. And that really made people dig into Tyler's past. And like I said, they done found some crazy jokes, some crazy tweets, him making jokes out of the R. Kelly situation, alleged pics of him in a Triple K outfit. I could keep going on, but it's looking real strange for Tyler, because not only are people deep diving in his past, but he deleting tweets and people calling him out for that in real time. Point I done built up. Tyler ain't no stranger to controversy. That's what he built his early brand around. But it did get so bad to a point where his antics, him doing all this shock value stuff, got him banned from the whole country, from the UK specifically. Remember what I said? Tyler had some insane lyrics from back then, lyrics that I can't really recite, but lyrics so crazy that they got him banned from the UK for 5 years. So during this time, this early 2010s, Tyler on tour, and he had already went out to the UK before, a few weeks before. He did a show, it was cool, but this time when he tried to come back to the country, they slayed him. They told bro, no sir, you cannot come back here. And it wasn't lyrics based on something he had said within that year. It was lyrics that got brought up from 2009 and 2015. Far Out magazine would write this. Based on lyrics from 2009, I am not allowed in the UK for 3 to 5 years, although I was there 8 weeks ago. That's why the shows were canceled, Tyler said on Twitter. But then Far Out would write this: the move is completely unprecedented. Unlike other artists who had been denied entry to the UK in the past, such as Busta Rhymes or Chris Brown, Tyler hasn't committed any actual criminal activities and didn't deserve to be considered in that same category. Instead, Tyler faced punishment because of his lyrical content within work dating back to his teenage years. But the song that got him banned was one that I referenced early on. Or this was just one of the songs. It was Tron Cat. Now, most of this song I really can't read to you on YouTube because they will yellow mark this video. But I'll read one thing off this song. A song back in 2009, Tron Cat. Tyler would say this: honey on that topping when I stuff you in my system. R word a pregnant girl and tell my friends I had a threesome. So you gotta understand, that's how Tyler was moving. He said a lot of crazy stuff like this, but we are in 2025 YouTube, so a nigga cannot read it to y'all. But just understand, Tyler was a shock value machine. I don't want to keep repeating myself, but you really got to understand it was crazy. And so this was years ago. These lyrics from when he was 18, 19. But even though people online talking about, oh yeah, you know, Tyler was younger, that's his excuse. Man, hell no, he was 19, about a grown man. Nigga, when I was 19, you was not hearing me talking like that. Them edgy jokes was not funny. I had enough common sense to say, maybe I shouldn't say that about a pregnant woman, or say this about that person, or this person, or any of the shit that Tyler was saying. So look, I might like Tyler's music, but I will never defend none of that crazy shit from his past. There's plenty of people today that'll be like, you know what? I'm not gonna listen to Tyler the Creator because of the stuff he's saying, and I will never argue anybody down. If you say that, that's completely valid, because these is words that came out of this man's mouth. He got online, he got in front of the world and said it. Now, am I saying he didn't change or he hasn't evolved from that? No, I'm just saying what he said is what he said. And if you don't want to support him because of that, that's completely understandable. And before I keep going on, make sure you tap in with me on IG at GetLikePrincee. I'm trying to grow my brand over there. And you this far into the video, you might as well hit that button. Back to the UK point. They get to looking through these lyrics and they banned them out the country. And Tyler would tell The Guardian this: Monday was one of the worst days I've ever had. I was in a detention room, I felt like a criminal, and then a border force officer showed me lyrics from songs, literally a paper with 5 lines of lyrics, and 4 were from Bastard songs and 1 was from Tron Cat. I never performed those songs. 30 minutes later, the guy comes in, he give me a paper, he say, okay, but they're not letting you in the country. The paper said I couldn't come in at all, saying that I support homophobia and acts of terrorism. And it says some other stuff, but I'm just like, none of that is true. And 2, I was here 7 weeks ago. I rented out a movie theater for a show. I did something that was awesome and it was no problem. But the reason I'm bringing this up is so y'all can understand how controversial he once was. And with some of this stuff being so far back, a good bit of his newer fans never knew about this. Or they might know that, oh, you know, Tyler was real edgy back then, but I don't think they knew how controversial he really was. So I think at some point in Tyler's career, he might have realized that, you know, maybe he's saying all this crazy stuff ain't gonna generate me the most attention. That isn't the best thing from my career, because yeah, he was making good music, but good music can't carry if the world doesn't like it. And that was the exact case Tyler was in. He had his core fan base, but his antics would limit how high he could really go, because people had this perception built around Tyler that that's somebody I shouldn't be listening to. That listen to what he be saying. And so Tyler realized that. And what's crazy, I know people in real life that will not listen to Tyler or looks at Tyler as a weirdo simply because of how he was coming up. So if I know somebody personally that feels that way, it gotta be other people that feel that same way. But there will be a moment in his career that would change everything. His album Flower Boy. Now this will be the moment where he would actively choose to become this more mature artist whose career isn't simply based around shock value. Flower Boy came out, and this will be a project where Tyler really opened up about him, his life, his sexuality, him becoming this better person. Everything about him, he kind of laid on the table with this album. His problems, his feelings. You should definitely listen to Flower Boy if you haven't. It's a really good album. But this album changed the direction of Tyler's career. And he done spoke on that exactly many times. Back in 2022, he was sent out a tweet saying that Flower Boy changed everything from me. But from Flower Boy forward, Tyler would change his image around, which boosted his career so much that his very next album after Flower Boy, Igor, will win a Grammy. Just proving the point even more that Flower Boy was this turning point for him. But that don't mean his past was just forgotten. Like you done heard throughout this video, he's responded to people trying to cancel him multiple times, basically saying, I don't care. It's the past. I'll show you what I said, but that's not me no more. But this time, when the internet tried to cancel Tyler, right now, the response is completely different. It's not like the other times. For the first time, it's kinda working. So Tyler spent years building up this fan base, and a good bit of them were from his edgy days. But when Tyler would like that tweet hinting at the fact that his white fans don't care about real hip hop, they don't care about black music, black art, they don't appreciate it. People from all sides of the internet would look at Tyler and really look at him and say, nigga, your fan base doesn't care about black art because this is how you condition them. This is how you built them up as these people who shouldn't care about black art. That's kind of the narrative people online are pushing right now. And if you really do look at his career and look at all the anti-black jokes and all the edgy jokes he made, what people are saying kind of makes sense. How New Hip Hop would write this? If you've been an online fan of Tyler, the Creator, for the past 15 years, you've probably seen more than a few Tyler tweets, social media posts, and other statements about his fan base. He definitely appreciates their support, but when he complains about them for whatever reason, they quit to clap back, especially this week. Of course, this relatively vague statement led to a lot of debate and also a lot of criticism for the former Odd Future frontman, supposedly fueling his discrepancy. Users on Twitter brought up old statements that they interpreted as possibly anti-black. Early edgy content of the OF days and other controversies such as selling merch with blackface on it. But as time goes on, this discussion is continuing to grow on Twitter. And I'll read you some of these tweets that people done dug up. On February 7, 2014, Tyler would tweet, I hate Black History Month. Why the F do you have to separate niggas still? Oh, it's paying homage to our heroes. F that. Another tweet, I hate the black dude from Victorious. And it didn't even just stop at tweets. It was alleged pics of him in Triple K outfits throwing up the salute. And when it came to Tyler's early career, people looked at him as one of those people who kept their distance from their blackness. Seemed like one of them people who didn't really want to accept the fact that he was black or was happy that he was black. And that was a huge point people have been bringing up against Tyler.
Tyler, the Creator, has a lyric that says, black bees are mad because my main bee is vanilla. And you think I care about the struggles he experienced with black women? He made it very clear from the beginning that he doesn't want to have a single thing to do with a black woman. The last time I saw him have a dark-skinned woman in his music videos, he was jumping on her butt. And it was Bria Miles, the very gorgeous Bria Miles, and he was jumping like a toddler on a trampoline on her butt. But you want me to believe that poor little Tyler was being bullied by the black girls. But his entire career was built off of being harmful and mean to women. If you're the kind of person that's like, I don't really know why the black girls don't like me, and you're the person making fun of the black girls, you need to just have one knock on the head. Because I need you guys to be so for real.
Now, some of the points she made in this are valid, but Tyler, in his opinions on black women throughout music, especially his recent music, on many times on many different songs on many different albums, he has praised black women. Even though he has said some crazy shit against women in the past, today, or what he makes it seem like today, is that his stance has changed. I mean, a huge example of this was the Darling I video that came out less than 2 months ago, where this video was heavily focused on black women. Willow Smith was in the video, Lauren London, you know, so many more people that I could list. But the point that she made about how the last time Tyler showed a black woman in his music video, he was being derogatory, that shit was just a straight up lie, because you can watch the video. This was a video basically uplifting black women. Tyler makes a lot of music where he's uplifting black music, but it's just like Tyler might have said crazy stuff in the past, but recently he has been uplifting black women heavy, a lot, pushing black culture, pushing his black art. But she wasn't the only person who was online, you know, responding to Tyler, who had something to say. Plenty of people made videos responding to this.
I want to talk about the Tyler, the Creator stuff as somebody who is the exact same age as Earl Sweatshirt and was listening to Odd Future in their teens. And there was a specific moment, right, that I remember being a switch flipped in my head, okay? When Earl came back from Samoa because his mom made him go work at like a camp for the victims of like and assault, right? Like assault. I remember when he came back and Doors dropped, and he wasn't doing all the like horrorcore, I'm gonna lock you up in RAPE. Like he left all that stuff out and just had the raps. That was so exciting to me because I was like, finally, like, they're growing up. This is music that I can play around people. And I remember being on like forums and stuff, and people would be like, man, Earl just doesn't have his edge anymore. Earl's not the same. Earl just doesn't have the edge. And I was like, it's the same music, but without the RAPE in it. It's even better, I'd argue. And I've talked about this multiple times over the past few years where I'm just like, I'm really surprised that there's never been like a Tyler, the Creator reckoning. Because people don't remember, Tyler was like banned from countries because his lyrics were so full of RAPE that like Australia, I think, and the UK were like, you can't come into this country. And while I think that was like a lot of them to target him specifically, and it was always that bad, and it was always weird, and like I liked them for being like a cool experimental hip-hop group, but the lyrics, you know what I mean? I remember Earl getting roasted in like 2013 or 2014 or whatever when Taylor Swift dropped Shake It Off, and he was talking about it being cultural appropriation, and it's like, weren't you guys on songs talking about locking Taylor Swift up in your basement? Like, it's like, you know, they deserve their lashes. And it's like, they deserve the lashes. I would say Tyler explicitly deserves them more than anyone else because he was often the head of creative control, and all the other members of Odd Future pretty quickly grew out of that. Tyler was really the only one holding on to this whole, like, I need to be edgy, I need to be offensive, like, thing. And so, like, yeah, you know, set that the ringer. He never got the right lashes for it, okay?
Something that bothers me about this whole Tyler, the Creator controversy is people being like, oh, how come nothing happened to him back then? Or like, oh, he just wasn't as famous back then, so nobody knew. People knew. He was banned from country. He wasn't some underground artist that people didn't know about. Now someone's gonna be in the comments like, I didn't know who he was. Okay, shut up. Nobody cares about you, all right? Like, he was as popular as Frank Ocean back then. Like, people knew who he was. He just wasn't popping like he is now. I'm saying all that to say is what people aren't recognizing is the times were very different. And this is not even in his defense. I'm just saying, if you're wondering like, oh, how come he didn't get canceled back then? Canceling wasn't a thing back then. Notice every time you find someone's like old tweets of them saying the N-word or something, it's always from that era, because that was before people decided it was cool to start pretending to care about that. There was a large collection of young black people being like, you know, the N-word, it's just a word. As a matter of fact, it's racist if we don't let white people say it. I remember vividly getting into arguments with my classmates about that. Like, I will say the things he was doing were still out of turn for that time period. Back then, he still had a bad reputation. I think in regards to the whole controversy, and again, I'm not saying what he was doing or saying was right, because obviously, like, in it being a product of your time is only so much of an excuse, right? But I think the concept of the fact that this whole thing started because his white fans were behaving a certain way, and then people decide to flip it on this 30-plus-year-old man for things he did when he was in his early 20s and late teens. He's clearly not on that anymore, and subsequently ignore the white people that were the start of this to begin with. It's like, I understand people are like, oh, we have to hold him accountable. I feel like now you're holding the wrong people accountable. Now, mind you, if this just came up out the blue, okay, fine, whatever. But this conversation literally started off because we were talking about white people disrespecting black music.
This is just such a strange position for Tyler, because if we looking at it, he did build his fan base off white edgy kids back during that time. But as the years went on, his audience changed and it grew a lot, and he grew a lot as an artist, as a person. So do I think Tyler is done for? Do I think Tyler is canceled? Absolutely not. Because this is a conversation that deadass happens once a year. But this is the first time it's ever gotten this big. Tyler is too established of an artist to actually get canceled, but that don't mean he can't hurt his career. Like I said, most of this was in the past. It was from when he was young, and if you want to excuse him, hey, you know, he was a young nigga. He was just yapping. That's fine. Am I going to excuse him just because he was young? No. He said some crazy. He says some. He's acknowledged this, and in a way you can say he has taken accountability for this many times, but he did the shit he did. He said the things he said, and I'm not defending it. And I don't think anybody can defend it, no matter how much of a fan you are. But I think the true question is, did Tyler really change from how edgy he was in the past? Or is this image he's portraying now something to just gain more attention? I don't think that's the case. But that's a question you gotta answer for yourself, because we don't know this man personally. Now, how do I feel? I do feel like Tyler has outgrown his past. He outgrew the version of himself that got him famous in the first place. He outgrew that edgy audience he cultivated. Tyler really isn't the same nigga at all from back then. Which is why I think every time people try to cancel him, it doesn't really work, because the way Tyler represents himself, the way he carries himself is nowhere near that same image, that same way, that same type of person from 2010, from 2012, 2013. I feel like this situation will really end for Tyler with just some backlash. What do y'all think? How do y'all feel about Tyler? Do y'all feel like he should be held accountable for the things he said in the past, or do you feel like people just trying to dig old shit up?